Hey everyone. So before we get into today's episode, this show is about everything that happens during the week, and some weeks are better than others. And although there was a lot of funny and fun things that happened this week, there was also some sad stuff that happened. My friend Danny passed away from his battle with cancer, and it was kind of a shock to our friend group. We knew he was sick, but it escalated really, really quick. And it was, all of a sudden it was like, a few weeks to live to like a few hours to live. And unfortunately, my friend Danny passed away this week. So there was a lot of ups and downs. We were in LA. We got to see our friends. I got to see his husband, and there was laughing moments and emotional moments, and all the things. So my heart goes out to his husband, Blaine, and all of our friends and his family. So before we get into the episode, I just wanted to take a second to acknowledge that. And cancer sucks. Cancer fucking sucks. So, Blaine, I love you. I'm sorry. I don't know what to say other than it sucks, and I'm sorry. So, without further ado, let's get into this week's episode. What is up, everyone? Welcome to It's Been a Week. I'm your host, Ben McDonald, and this is your weekly dose of whatever the hell just happened. Okay, everyone. So I hope you all had a great Father's Day. Father's Day is one of those holidays that I don't really have to celebrate anymore because my dad is dead. So, and I actually posted on my Instagram on my story, which I'm sure people were like, oh my God. Because I wrote, I'm like, well, the one good thing about your dad being dead is it's one less gift you have to buy. And look, that might sound a little harsh or might whatever, but you have to make jokes of it. You have to make light of it because like, what are you going to do? Just sit around and be sad? So, hope everyone that does have their father had a great Father's Day, or if you are a father, or if you're celebrating Father's Day, I hope you had a great fucking Father's Day. We traveled to LA this week, which, so when we're traveling, there's always a story, right? And this traveling experience, it was a doozy. So I love Delta. If I have to pick an airline, usually I'm going to go with Delta. I have the Delta American Express card. I used to be diamond status with Delta, which, by the way, fuck you, Delta. They have like changed their whole status structure, and now it is like near impossible to get status. I went from being diamond, which is the highest you can be, to I think now I'm like, I don't know, maybe gold. I don't even know, but it's like really difficult to get status now, and it's really annoying. So Delta, if you're listening, can you just change that shit back? Because it was much more fun when I was diamond. Anyways, for this flight, we had to fly American. We're kind of having to, slowly switch to American because American Airlines is hubbed in Dallas. So like if you want to get on a flight with American, they're like a flight from Dallas to LA, there's 15 flights a day. You can go every hour on the hour. You're going to get to LA. Delta has like 2. You can go at like 6 a.m. or 6 p.m. So that doesn't always work. So we're slowly having to switch to American, which, by the way, American sucks. Like they don't even have TVs in the seats, which is like, to me, it's 2025. No one wants to put their little they have these little plastic trays where you can set your iPhone, and it's like, oh, you better make sure you have a fully charged battery and that you've remembered your AirPods, or guess what? You're shit out of luck. So I don't know. American Airlines, they suck. But anyways, that's beyond the point. We get to the airport and we're going to be there for a week, and we have a bunch of different events and all these different things. So we had to, normally we're like carry-on people, but we had to check luggage. So we go, and when you get to the airport, there's 2 different types of people. Some people like to get there like 3 hours before their flight. And there's people like AJ and I who, we're parking in the structure and like boarding has begun. Like we cut it very close. So, and we don't stress about it. We have pre-check. It's like, there's no need to be at the airport 3 hours early. We did get a little earlier this time because we knew we had to check a luggage, but like normally we wouldn't. So we park the car, we go inside, we go up to the lady at the kiosk or the counter, and she's like, where are you going? And I said, LAX. And she goes, driver's license, please. So I hand her my driver's license, and she's typing in her computer, and she goes, I don't see a reservation. And I go, well, ma'am, I don't know what to tell you. I can assure you I have a fucking reservation. And she goes, what's your last name? Ma'am, you're holding my driver's license. You are, you, really? I go, it's the same one that's right there on the driver's license. Like, what a stupid question. So this lady is taking her time. And I mean, like, thank God we weren't in a rush, because if you had to like catch a flight, like she was going at like turtle speed. It's like barely, I mean, come on. I'm like, speed this shit up. And she's like, do you have your confirmation number? So I pull out my app. I go, here's my, I mean, you can see my ticket. You can see my seat. You can, I have a reservation on the flight. Show her the confirmation number. And she goes, will you be checking one bag or two? And I go, well, there's two of them sitting here on the fucking scale. So I guess I'm checking two. And so she goes, well, are they both under your name, or are you putting one under his name? I go, just put them both under my name. Like, cause I knew if I tried to put one under AJ's name, it was going to be a whole nother situation. The last name, the whole thing. So I go, just there you go. Take the luggage. So she takes them. And we're standing there waiting because like she hadn't put them on the conveyor belt yet. And I'm like, this lady doesn't seem like, she's working on all cylinders. So I'm like, I want to make sure these fucking bags get on the conveyor belt. So I'm sitting there and she goes, you can go, your gate is up there. And I go, you can put my bags on the conveyor belt. And here's what sucks about an airport, right? You can only be so much of a bitch. You can't be a total bitch, or you're going to get on like the no fly list, or you're going to get in trouble. Like they know they have this power over you, which sucks because like, they can be cunts all day long, but the second you snap back at them, it's like, oh, you're a terrorist. So I'm like, okay. So I'm like, I'm rude, but like not that rude. Is that making sense? We go to the gate, or we get through security, all the things. We're sitting at our gate. We have like 15 minutes until we board. We get on the flight, get a cocktail. We have this gay little flight attendant, who's obsessed with us because like, oh my God, where are you guys headed? Again, where the plane is going. Where do you think we're headed? We're headed to Los Angeles. So we get on the flight, having a few cocktails. I'm doing some stuff. I think AJ took a nap. All good. And then the pilot comes on and he goes, okay, so, we're getting ready for landing, whatever, prepare the cabin. I love to have a pre-landing cocktail. Okay. It's like one of my favorite parts. So I go up to the gay little stewardess and I'm like, hey buddy, I go, can I get a one more cocktail? And he goes, yes. He goes, but since we're landing soon, I can't give it to you in glass. I have to give it to you in a plastic cup. And I'm like, totally fine. I get it. All good. And I go, make it a double. So I'm sitting there, and as I'm going to take a sip, this other flight attendant, and if I had to describe her, she's like, you look at her and you're like, she didn't have a lot of friends in high school. She most likely like went to college and studied biology, and she probably loves amphibians. I bet she has a pet rabbit, and she for sure eats Cheetos in bed, right? Like she's one of those people where like she'll eat the Cheetos and then like wipe her fingers on her sheets. That's the type of person she is, okay? And so she's coming down the thing, and I can hear this high pitch, mousy little voice. And I was like, what? Oh, God. I couldn't imagine if you had to live with her. So she comes up and she goes, I'll be taking that. Speaking about my drink, as I was going to take the first sip, and I'm like, excuse me? She goes, I'll be taking that. And I said, well, I just got it. And she goes, I'll be taking that. And I'm like, okay, again with the fucking power trip. And I said, well, can I at least finish it? Nope. She's like holding her hand out in my face. So I looked her dead in the eyes and I chugged that drink as fast as I could. I just opened the back of my throat and let her down. And then I crunched it with full of ice. And I said, here you go. I mean, this lady, like, I have flown a lot. Like I fly often. I have never been on a flight where you can't hold your drink for landing. I understood the glass part. I totally get that. But you always have your drink when you land. If you have a water bottle, or even if you have Diet Coke, whatever the fuck you have, you can always land with your drink. That's not it's not a thing that you can't do that. She just had this whole power trip situation. So she's got this high pitched little mousy voice. Then she gets to the front talking to the little gay guy, and I hear her go, oh God, I'm so tired. Excuse me? What in the Paris Hilton voice change was that? I go, how did you go from this mousy little creature to now you like just summoned Satan? It was bizarre. So the flight lands, we get off the plane, collect our luggage, and we were going to be in LA, or we were in LA for like a week. So we rented a car. Rental cars is a shit show. So we get our luggage and we go out of LAX and I see the Avis bus right there. So I was like, okay, let's get on the bus, because sometimes you don't know how often those buses are coming around. So I get on the bus and it is packed. I mean, there is not one seat open. AJ and I are literally standing in the aisleway. And there's this Jamaican driver, which, I mean, I wish I was as happy as him, because he's like, yeah, man, come on the bus. And I'm like, okay, here we go. So we get on the bus. Then he makes another stop. I mean, more people get on, and I'm like, there is no room. AJ's ass is in some lady's face. There's no room. There's none. So I'm like, okay. And then he makes another stop, and I go, sir, there's no more room. Like, literally, there's no more room. And he goes, it's okay, man. And all of a sudden, this lady from the back of the bus starts walking up, and she goes, because she had to get off here. And I wish, if you guys are watching this, you'll see that I was like this, right? Up against the luggage, like literally like out of a cartoon, smashed up against the luggage. There's no way to get through. The bus is packed. And she walks up and she looks at me and she goes, my suitcase is right there. She goes, I'm going to need you to like move it. I looked her straight in the eyes, and I if looks could kill, and I looked at her and I said, I'm well aware what I need to fucking do. And she was like, oh, and I was like, this dumb bitch. So I was like, I'm smushed up against the luggage. Do you not think I'm trying to assess how the fuck to get off this bus so you can get your stupid little TJ Maxx luggage? I'm on. Give me a second. So I get my shit. I get off the bus, and then she like falls and trips down the bus. I didn't care. I just was like, bye. Got on the bus, and they closed the door. I mean, what is wrong with people? I was like, she goes, hey, don't like snap at me like I'm a fucking dolphin. She was like, you're going to have to move it. I'm like, you're going to have to shut the fuck up. Oh, then we get to our place. Everything is good. I mean, it was an amazing time being back in LA. And the thing I miss so much about LA is the restaurants and the food. Like, you living in Texas, you do not get, we have like fast food here and we have a few good restaurants, but it's like the Mexican here sucks. Like, it's very mediocre. Like, the Mexican food in Southern California is just, holy shit. We went to all of our favorite restaurants. Shout out to Hugo's Tacos, Jones on Third, Marvin's, the Belmont. I can't even think of them all, but we went to all of our favorite restaurants. It was like, that was the best part. I love going back for the food. Got to see all of our friends. My friend Paige, it was her baby shower, which I don't, you guys, they built a castle. Okay, like I don't even know what else to describe it to you guys. The photos will come out soon, and I'll be able to share it with you guys. But they built a castle. That's all I can say. Insane. It was like an amazing day celebrating. It was so much fun. And then we also got together with our friends, and we had a celebration of life party for our friend Danny, which was like, super emotional, but also super healing and super fun. And it just kind of, like, sadly, sometimes death like really brings people together. And it was, I mean, a shitty way to do it, but it was amazing to be with everyone. And then we ended our trip with Disneyland, which you can see, look, I'm wearing my Gay Pride Disneyland sweater. And again, we went with our friend Paige, and she just spoils the shit out of us because we get to go with these tour guides. We had 3 tour guides, and like, we don't wait in line. We go in the exit. They shut down the ride for us. It's like, we love the ride. They're like, you want to go again? They just wave their hand and we go on the ride again. Everyone at Disney hates us. Like, all the other people that have waited 3 hours to get on a ride, everyone hates us. And you know what? I don't blame them. But if you had the opportunity, you would do it too, because it's amazing. It is so, I don't know. You can't ever go to a theme park without this now, because Paige kind of ruins you, because it's so, literally, we did all of Disneyland, all of California Adventure, hit every ride multiple times. And it's like, they said some people, if you just buy a regular ticket, you only get to go on like 3 or 4 rides all day long. Like, who wants to go do that? I don't know. Again, I know, very spoiled, not reality, but it was so fun and I love it. So thank you, Paige. Best day ever. And then to end this intro, have you guys heard of these fucking Labubus? A Labubu. Do you know what that is? It's these little dolls that people are using as like bag charms, and you hang them on your purse and shit like that. So AJ was obsessed. He had to have a Labubu, had to get this Labubu. And I think they're the stupidest thing. I'm like, what is the point of this? People are waiting in line for hours to try to get one. we ended up going and paying 4 times the price because I was like, I'm not waiting in a line for a stuffed animal. Like, it's not happening. So AJ got one, and then I don't even know what happened. I wasn't even drunk. I somehow got suckered into then, like, I got a Labubu. Why the fuck do I need a Labubu? It is the stupidest thing. I was so embarrassed that I got it, and then I got it in an outfit, and it's just humiliating. And I don't really understand why everyone is freaking out about these Labubus. But you know what? I'll jump on any trend, I guess. All right. So I'm going to let you in on a little bit of the behind the scenes of what it's like to have your own podcast. So our next guest, she is a friend of mine from Australia, and she was supposed to be on this week. And we waited until the very last minute because of time zones and time changes. So this episode is being filmed Monday, the day before you guys are going to hear this. And she did not show up. So that is part of podcasting, booking guests, getting scheduling and conflicts and getting everything lined up. It's part of the job, and sometimes it doesn't work out. So unfortunately, you will not be hearing from her on this episode, but you are going to hear from one of my amazing friends. She's hilarious, and she happens to be a producer from all sorts of television shows that you definitely know and most likely watch. But I do want to let you guys know that this episode was pre-recorded. So this episode is actually from a few months ago. So if some of the timelines don't like match up, or if you're like, wait, I've heard that, or wait, that doesn't make sense right now, this is a pre-recorded episode. It's still a great episode, but it is pre-recorded. So I just wanted to give you guys that little, disclaimer. And that's just kind of the way it goes with podcasting. It doesn't always line up the way you want it to, but that's okay. We're rolling with the punches, and I hope you guys enjoy it. Let's get into it. Barbara, welcome to the podcast. It's been a week.
Sure has.
It has been an insane week. So I want to take one little minute, well, more than a minute.
Let's talk.
Let's talk about your career, because you have a very, very interesting and a very cool career.
Thanks.
I'm going to try to get this right.
Yeah.
You are a executive producer on you guys ready for this? The Kardashians.
I am.
And how is that?
It's wild.
That's got to be, I mean, as far as like reality TV, that's like the cream of the crop, isn't it?
It is. Sometimes I don't think it's real. You know, when you're standing next to Kim, you're like,
yeah, like I know. What is it like when you're just sitting there and like you look down at your phone? Because like I'll look down at my phone and I'm like, oh my God, I got a new like on Instagram. You look down at your phone and it's like, oh, Kim Kardashian has texted me.
When it first started happening, I was like, whoa, I was like, this is crazy, So, but honestly, it's a trip. It's different because I did a ton of Bravo before, and then you come into the world of the family, which is wild, and it's just, I will say that it is nice and kind of a pleasure to be around a bunch of really successful women that just do, their business, ladies.
Yeah.
They are like forces, and it's really cool to be around that kind of energy, and as opposed to, and I know you are a cis white man,
Right.
so I'm not trying to knock this, but I mean, in the industry, everybody, like all your bosses are male for the most part, and it's a very, misogynistic place, and then you're around these guys and you're like, wow, they kick ass.
Like they're bosses.
Yeah, they are bosses.
People give them shit all day long, but if you look at it, they have like everything they touch turns to gold.
Yeah.
And it's not like came on the scene and they were relevant for a year. They have been around now for, how many years? They've been around forever, it seems like at this point, and they just keep coming up with new stuff. And so I just think they're brilliant in the way that they can market things, the way that they just continue to evolve, the way that they continue to just come out with new things. And they each have their own thing, which I think is so cool too.
Mm-hmm. No, it's great. And everyone, like, if you're that famous, you will have haters.
For
it's
sure.
Just a thing. But my thought is that, they don't get enough credit for the hustle that they do. They are hard workers.
All the time.
And I think and it varies, and, what people think is, oh, hard work, they have to be out there every day. Like, you don't know their life. You don't know what they're doing.
You have no idea.
You have no idea. Like, they're some of the most, you see it's inspiring. It is, you know, you're like, all right, maybe I need to up my game. Like, that's a great, you know.
I mean, I have some other friends that are, you know, like some other billionaire friends who have a lot going on, and people just think, oh, they have no problems, or like, oh, it must just be so easy. Like, you have no idea what they do. Like, they have the same problems that everyone else does. It's just on a different level, and it's different things.
Yeah.
But like they still like, I mean, it's like the saying, everyone puts their, you know, pants on this one leg at a time. But they have they have to deal with so much stuff, so much work. Plus, they have to be on all the time.
All the time.
Like they don't get to go out in public and have a bad day.
They can't like eat an apple without someone saying something.
Something.
And whether good, bad, or nothing. You know?
It's just they're gonna say something.
It's like, well, why would you eat a green apple, not a red one? Like, what, you don't like red apples? It's like, what?
Just let them eat the fucking apple.
It's like, what? Jesus. Like, it's, you know.
I mean, it's crazy too. They like literally started the whole like influencer thing because like they were like the first ones to do like get paid to like post on Twitter.
Smart.
It was brilliant.
Yeah.
But like that catapulted into this whole world of like influencers and social media and all. Like they literally were the ones that capitalized on in the first place, which has opened up doors for so many people.
Yes. I mean, they're cultural icons.
Literally.
Yeah, literally. I mean, so I don't know. People love to hate everybody nowadays. Like it's not even just the Kardashians. Every star out there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
People love to bitch.
Love to bitch.
And
behind
misery
that
loves
phone.
company. Oh yeah. Oh, the keyboard warriors.
It's like, wow, you guys have nothing else to do than really comment on every single thing.
Just let it be.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I mean, again, it's like the old saying: if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all.
Exactly.
Just let it be.
Right.
Unless they directly affect you, which for 99.9 of the people who don't know these people in real life,
Yeah.
let it be.
Like I remember, I'm trying to think, we did have social media. I mean, for sure. When I started on, because I also did Vanderpump forever, Vanderpump Rules, but did we have, I don't know that Instagram was like that popping at that time. I can't remember. It wasn't as huge. Like,
Right.
Social media wasn't what it is now.
Right.
You know?
Well, no, even Facebook. Do you remember it used to be like you literally would post what you were doing?
Yeah.
Like Facebook statuses. Remember it was like,
I'm going to the store.
yeah, it would be like Ben is, and you would write like, yeah, go into Walmart to pick something up. Like you would update people. And now it's like, no one does it. Now it's just like you post pictures and, you know.
I just do it to see people's birthdays.
Right.
You know, but
Thank God for that because I wouldn't know anyone's. So with the Kardashians, what's like the craziest like place you've had to go, or the craziest thing where you've gone somewhere and you're like, holy shit, I can't believe I'm here right now.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I'm still like the newbie, right? So I haven't even been there over not even a year, you know? And I've been, it's wild how many places we've been, but I think it's India for sure.
Oh, wow.
India was wild. Not on my bucket list to go to India.
But I've heard it's really cool there.
It was awesome.
So do people even like in India freak out over them?
Yes.
So it's like worldwide no matter where they go.
Yes. Which is, it's like, and then when you're doing these things, you know, they're just people. I know people hate when I say this or whatever, but when you're around them, they're just people like we are. And they're just, you know, they have these cool opportunities and you get to see it. And I think it's awesome, you know, to see all the different countries and the people that you meet. And
right.
Yeah, that was wild though. Seeing that, yeah, it was wild.
I can't even imagine. I mean, the amount of like prep and security and all the things that goes in just to transporting them around has got to just be a whole production.
Their security team's awesome.
Yeah.
I love them.
Security teams are always the fun ones.
They're just cool, nice people. Yeah.
So before you got on Kardashians, you did a lot of Bravo shows, right?
I sure did.
So can you list some of the ones you did?
Okay. Well, I did Vanderpump Rules for like 8 years.
Wow.
Yep. $1 Million Listing. Couple of those. Southern Charm. A lot of Southern Charm. Southern Hospitality. Housewives of Jersey. Housewives of Salt Lake City. Like what else did I mean,
how'd you first get, so you started with Vanderpump?
Well, I started at Bravo. I worked at Bravo for,
because you were Paige, right?
3 years. Yeah, I was NBC Paige.
Okay.
Greatest entry level job ever. Like ever.
Friend.
It just
wasn't Ryan too?
Yes, but he was in New York, I think.
Okay.
Yeah. So we had the New York. I applied to both and I got in LA and I didn't get in New York.
Gotcha.
New York was hard.
Really?
New York.
I would think LA would be harder.
No, New York. Oh my God. There was 2 rounds of interviews and I got in because of just to get an interview. Cause my buddy from high school worked at NBC. He was building, he was in operations at the time, like building news studios or whatever, but like they knew him. So he's like, you should be a page. I was like, okay, that sounds great. So I interviewed with one of the ladies, got to the next round. And I was living in San Diego at the time, had to fly. I was flying myself in, like no money, sitting, like sleeping on my friend's couch. But
gosh.
Anyway, so then I come back and then the second round of interview. And then I got lucky and one of the girls that I had worked with, her friend went through this process. So she told me about it. So I knew I had a little like a leg up there.
Like what was going to happen.
Yeah. And you go in for your other interview and it's you and other kids who want to be a page. And all of you are in the same room with a row of executives that just fire questions at all of you at the same time. So you can't like, if you have an answer in your head, if Joe Bob says it over there, you can't say the same thing. So you have to like change your answer in the moment. I know. And then you had to give a 2-minute presentation of why you wanted to give. I mean, why not give a 2-minute presentation of why you wanted to be a page. And so you could have visual aids, whatever you wanted, but you couldn't sing or dance because they didn't want actors or performers in the program. Because like it wasn't your way to get in to like be on a show, like as an actor. I did a pop-up treasure map of showing my journey of why I should be a page.
Cute.
Yeah, and I made one for everyone. I didn't get it. I thought I crushed it. It was like me and this other girl were like, man, we nailed this. I was like, I know, we did so good.
But then you had to go do this all again in LA?
Well, yeah. Well, so this is a, first time in life. I was like, oh, it's like who because
right.
There were people there who were interns at ABC, NBC, Bravo, all this. So those kids were already in. So those guys got hired and the ones that were on the outside didn't. So I was like, oh my God. So then I went to Thanksgiving that year and I don't know if my parents told my aunt this, but my aunt's sister she worked for Obama and she knew she's like one of her good friends is Marie Shriver.
Oh, okay.
Maria Shriver.
Yeah.
Is that right? Maria Shriver, yeah. And so she hit her up and she's like, you want me to just hit her up and see if you can get in? I was like, yeah, I didn't know, and I was like, yeah, it is who you know. So then she hit up somebody at Dateline and then I talked to this Dateline producer. And then at the same time, I had emailed everyone in the program in New York. And I was like, how do I get to do this in LA? Do you know, can I continue this process there? And the head of the program in New York emailed me back and was like, email this lady, Betty Miller. And so then I emailed her, got an interview, had the talk to that producer. Then they recommended me. So at this point, I'm like, if I don't get in, it's not meant to be because I have like all these people. Like,
everything's lined up. Yeah.
And then LA, you go, met 2 people like at the same time, lovely interview. And then they're just like, great, you're in. We just wait for your spot to open up, basically. So like they have like cycles. So like each month would be like a new group kind of thing. But so that the next opening wasn't until like the next October, but you don't know that. You're just waiting and you just they're like, just keep checking in with us. And then I remember I was like,
shit.
It was wild. But so then I got in LA and didn't get in.
And then
yeah.
So then it pretty much launched your career.
Right. And so long story short, then I got into, because it's like a year to network your butt off and all of NBC Universal. And then I got a job at Bravo. And then I was there in the marketing department for 3 years. But I wanted to learn how do we make the shows? People ask me all the time, what are the Housewives like? Oh my God, what's this? I'm like, I don't know. I was like, we know how to market them, Right. But so then I quit and then started at the bottom as a PA. My parents were not thrilled because I had like benefits and
all the
401k and all the things. And I'm like, I don't want to do this anymore. Like, you want to be a PA and make no money and start at the bottom. I was like, yes.
Yes, I do.
Yes,
but it's paid off now.
Right. Yeah, exactly. See, kids, you too.
Follow your dream.
Follow your dream.
So speaking of the Housewives, what's like what's the wildest thing that's ever happened when you're like filming these shows with these housewives?
I mean, I will say, and then people say a lot of things are fake or they did this for TV. Like they don't, like, all the feelings are real. All the things we do are real. You know what I mean? Like we set up, yes. Do we have to clear locations and ask to go places and have contracts signed with all restaurant? Absolutely. Yes.
Right.
So you know where you're going, it's not like you can just, we can't follow them 24 hours a day. And
You can't just magically show up and start filming in a restaurant, right?
No, they'll be like, we'll sue you. You can't just come to our establishment like this.
Right.
You know, like unless you're really lucky you show up and they say on the day, oh, fine, you're
Come
good.
on in.
Yeah.
When you do go to these restaurants and they're having all these scenes, the people that are all in the background eating, are those real people or are they kind of placed there?
Okay. So a lot of times you strive to have those people be real. You know, like it's a time that people are eating, people are there. There are times where it is slow and there are not people in that restaurant. And do we put people in the background? Yes, we do.
Yeah.
Like people on, other, producers, other people on the crew, that we can pop in to make it look full. Yeah, we'll do that.
But like, how do you stop people if they're in the restaurant from like coming up and being like, can I get a picture with you in the middle of filming?
I mean, it's happened. And then you politely just tell them, can you please wait until the scene is done? And then that's what I would say. Like wait until the scene's done. They would love to say hi to you and meet you, but we're literally in the middle of.
Because I mean, how do they go from
it's
these
doing their job? Like
right.
they're doing their job.
They're working.
Yeah, exactly.
But how do you go from like these screaming "fuck you" and storming out in the way? Oh, let me get a picture and sign an autograph with you.
Well, I mean, they hope that that's not
what's going to happen.
Going to happen. A lot of times, like if that's happening, nobody's getting a picture or anything afterwards. If there's like a fight going,
there's a real fight.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you sit. These people when they're in the background, I'm like, it's amazing when they're not just sitting there staring, like looking down the camera lens.
That's been a problem. Like so, I mean, it was especially when Vanderpump was in its like hey day, like when we would
actually working in the restaurant.
Yes, there was a point where it was so it in my I would say it was like Disneyland for Bravo fans who would come in to serve because all the cast would be there working. So at times people they didn't give a fuck and they would come into the scene and do that. They would ask for a picture in the middle of like somebody being like, and you know what, like really having like an emotion and having a good scene, and then someone would come in, so we're like, oh my god. And you're one producer, you can't be everywhere, so we started having to have security to like, and then we would create a wall around the scenes so people couldn't run in, especially like oh my god, when Lisa would show up, she couldn't even walk, like 2 steps swarmed, and you're like, oh god, so you knew if Lisa was coming that you like that was going to happen. Make sure she has like her table that you can control. When people are sitting at tables, it's harder for them to go up and be like, give me a picture, but it got wild. It was wild for a little bit.
Yeah, the Bravo fans it's like their own little cult.
Yeah,
it's kind of crazy.
Yeah, but yeah, some of the crazy. I didn't answer your question, but it has to be the morning we showed up to on our trip in San Diego for season 3, Salt Lake City, and Heather had a black eye, and that was crazy. That was a crazy time.
Right, because what do you say when your cast member shows up and it's like, what happened?
Right, we're like, yeah, exactly. Like, what happened? How did this? Because so on our side of this, and this has all been talked about, like on the reunions and all this. But we had a producer shooter. On a lot of these shows, we have producer shooters who will stay with the cast till late because
anything can happen.
Anything can happen. A lot of times people, the fans, get upset about, oh my God, I can't believe they fought last night and you missed it and all these things. Yo, we can't stay up all night long.
24 hours.
With 24 hours a day, I might die. I have before, trust.
Mm-hmm.
But like we started to cycle in producer shooters who have a camera, who stay with them just in case. And like, you stagger their hours so they have the same hours as a normal workday would have, right? So this poor guy, he was there till like probably like 4:30 in the morning, and then put them all to bed, and then he left. So because everyone went to sleep.
Mm-hmm.
And we also had ring cams all around that house, because they like to do things and be sneaky. So I remember that. I was like, we should put ring cameras all around this house, so because it will trigger
Smart.
it. Yeah, like a house show, which they all knew that they were there. But it wasn't in the rooms. It was just in the hallways, whatever. So yeah, so when he tells us that, we come in and we see that and we're like, oh my God, her eye. Like, how did this happen? What went down? And then, we find out a year later that she admits that Jen hit her, but it's scary. Like you're just like, do we need to call the police? What do we need to do? Like
that's crazy.
Yeah. And then Heather started blaming producers, which wasn't cool. Like saying like, I don't know, maybe a producer did it. And I was like, Are you?
Oh, you can't do that.
You can't do that.
No, that's fucked up.
Yeah.
Because that's like people's careers and livelihoods on the line.
No, it was messed up. And I think like Andy and Lisa Barlow were the two on the reunion who were like, Heather, that's not okay. Like you could have ruined someone's career. Like that,
Right.
It was not, that was not a cool thing to do.
That's not cool.
And I know like, like at that time, Jen wasn't guilty. You know what I mean? She wasn't guilty of, of whatever, she wasn't
a convicted felon yet.
right. She had not gone to jail. So I can see why she was trying to protect her, I guess. But you know what? But you don't go into the day thinking you're going to see one of your cast members with a huge black eye.
Well, especially if you're filming 12 hours earlier and there was nothing.
Yeah.
And you wake up and then she's like, nothing happened. Fell on the stairs. Like, you can't do that. What?
Crazy. It was crazy.
That's bananas.
And when you watch it back now, you can see the different moments where she's like trying to give Jen that minute to like be like, just say that you
did it,
man. And she.
I mean, so that's why, when people say like, oh, it's not real. Like, it definitely is real.
No, it's real.
And I've met a lot, like a pretty good amount of these housewives. And when you meet them in person, they are what you see on TV.
Yeah.
Like, yes, of course they're working, but like you'll meet these housewives at different events and different things, and they really do. I'm like, you are what I expected. Like, you are exactly how I thought you'd be. Whereas sometimes you'll meet like an actor or someone else, in the spotlight, and it's like you love their character, and then you meet a real person, which is I think why they say never meet your heroes, because they're probably not going to be what you think they are, and they're like, oh, but these housewives, you meet them, and I'm like, yep, that is exactly what I thought you would be like.
Yeah. The good ones just are themselves.
Yeah.
And show completely 100% show who they, on TV, who they are.
As producers, do you guys have to like kind of nudge them or like get them going? Or do they just like, it just happens?
I think it depends, right? Like if you know that, say you have a scene, right? And there's two people going into it, and you know that one of them needs to tell the other one, like, so last night, this bitch said that your husband, whatever.
Right.
Like, that one person needs to deliver something to the other. Mm-hmm. And then they just sit there and talk about fucking avocado toast. You're like, okay. You're like, we have 30 minutes left in this, because you have a time limit. You have like crew has to have to get to lunch. Like, you know what I mean? Like there are regulations you have to do, right? So you like walk in and you're like, okay, I know you have something to say. You know what I mean? Like all the different producers have different tactics,
right?
Depending on who they are. Sometimes you pull them out and say it, or I'll just go up and be like, yo, I know you have something to tell her. So like, let's go,
let's get to it.
And then they're like, all right, okay. Yeah. But it's hard to say the hard things, especially on
But
TV.
how do they know? Like, are they prepped for the day? Like, this is what you need to tell the person?
Well, we'll talk to them before. But like, the meaning of this. You asked for this lunch. Like, you asked for this lunch to tell Brittany that yada yada just happened to her,
right?
Or happened to you last night. A lot of times they'll do that. Be like, okay, well, I want to have a scene with this person, so I can tell them this. And like, okay, cool. So, and then you get into the scene, and they don't do it. You're like, no, but you gotta like,
do it,
right? Like you asked for this. Yeah, we don't force them to do anything, but you remind them.
Like why we're doing this,
right? Like,
we're not just here to watch you like sip champagne.
Yeah, the way that I say it is like it accelerates kind of real life, because you don't have, in real life you might wait a month to tell somebody this, or you might wait, until the right time. You only have a certain amount of time to get your season, so the right time is always
now.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
What do you think makes someone like a perfect candidate to be a housewife?
Oh man. That's such a hard question. What perfect candidate?
Like, I guess what makes
what makes a good housewife?
Like if you were casting,
yeah,
and you were like, okay, I need to find people for this. Like, what would stand out to you where it's like, okay, that's what we need.
I think it depends on the city too, right?
That's true.
Each city has their own vibe of
from like
housewife.
Yes, I agree.
Honestly, I don't know. You have to want to live your life out loud. You have to want to do that and have no
secrets.
You can have secrets, but know that those might come out. Mm-hmm. There's a very good possibility that they will come out. It baffles me sometimes. Sometimes these people go on TV thinking that, oh, I did this and that, and I can cover it up.
It'll never come out.
Are you insane? Like, this is the thing that exposes all your secrets. Like, have you not watched like anything? You know? So, But no, being able to do that makes a great housewife, a great reality character,
You have to be open, vulnerable, and just be able to like put it out there, whether it's embarrassing or it's amazing or it's sad, or you just have to be able to put it out there.
Exactly. Yeah.
And you don't know how people are going to receive it.
Right.
People might have sympathy for you. They might be like, fucking get over it.
Right. Right.
Do you think housewives are like, these reality shows in general, they put a strain on people's relationships? Because it seems like a lot of people, even the ones like you think, oh my God, they've been together forever, they'll be together forever. It like a lot of people don't make it.
I know. I don't know. I don't.
Because I was wondering.
But there's also relationships that have stayed through it too. But
maybe part of it is that they weren't that happy in the first place, and then like the show almost is it's an outlet, and it's kind of it masks shit anyways.
That for sure, yes. And I think it's also like we just said, if you have things you're hiding, they will come out. So to me, it's mind-boggling when someone cheats, and you're like, oh, they won't find out. You're like,
oh, they will.
Oh, they will.
Yeah.
And we'll find out too. Like a lot of times, like if you're depending on the town, if you're in a small town, everybody knows everything that you do, even if you're a producer. You know what I'm saying? Like, so we will hear things before some cast members will hear things, and you're like, oh my God, so like,
because when you're not filming like, Beverly Hills in New York, when you're filming in these other cities, like it's more of a small town feel.
Yeah.
Like even here in Texas where I live, they film a bunch of Hallmark movie, Taylor Sheridan's like our neighbor, and they film. I know all the time when stuff's being filmed, what they're filming, what like the little communities talk, because it's in LA, obviously people are filming all the time, in New York. But when it's these other cities, I think everything kind of gets around.
Right. Like Charleston, smallest town ever. And everything. Like, and people will come up to you and tell you, oh, last night I saw da-da-da do this. You're like, okay.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks for that.
Appreciate that.
Yeah.
Here's my number.
Text me when you see anything else. If you could like swap lives for like a week with any housewife, any franchise, any of them, who would you switch? Who would you want to be for a week and why?
Oh my God. Okay. Any housewife?
Anyone from any franchise, any of it.
Oh man, that's a hard question.
I mean,
yeah, you go first.
Part of me would be like Erica Jane, because I could go like perform, and I would love that.
Sure.
But then the other part of me is like, could I be Heather Dubrow and then transfer a bunch of that money into into Ben's account?
Yeah.
Because like she sold that house for $64 million.
Totally. I was gonna go with Lisa Barlow.
Lisa Barlow.
I love Lisa Barlow. Maybe even Mary. She just like
that'd be wild.
Blissfully living in this life, man. Like
in her own world.
Yeah, in her own world, but she gets to have McDonald's. On those Sprinter vans, and I'm into that. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Just
Sorry,
to wrap this up.
Are we going too long?
No, this is great.
Okay.
What do you think for like this housewife and Bravo? What do you think is the big like? Why do you think people are so drawn to this? Why do you think people are so obsessed? I mean, you look at BravoCon, you look at any of the shows, you look at anything that these people do. Like, people are obsessed. People are more obsessed with housewives than like actors and celebrities.
Right. I mean, you saw some of it last night. Mm-hmm. Like it was
like the fans are like they start to talk like these people. They dress like these people. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I think it's being able to see a piece into people's worlds that other people don't have, or you know what I mean? Like Beverly Hills is a great example of that. Like you are jumping into a world that people just don't know.
Yeah.
And it's a different, the wealth on that show has always been on a different level than
the other ones, which is I think even because it started with Orange County and it was all about like behind the gates. Like it all started because everyone wanted to see what is it like living behind these gates, and then obviously now it's expanded and it's blown up. But
right, I feel like I think you said this to me. Reality TV has gone from like true, just following what people were doing to now it's who maybe who hates who the most, or like whose marriage is falling apart, or it's gone more savage than I mean, look, I still like I've never missed an episode of Orange County or Beverly Hills, and it used to be like, what is their life like? Oh my God, they're spending this, they're going, because like even in the first seasons of Orange County, like the girls didn't
they weren't always together. Like they didn't really do that much together. It was just more like, this is this person's life. Now this is this person's life. Whereas now it's much more like, there's usually someone that's going to get picked on each season. There's usually someone that's the bitch, and it switches, but it's a little more about the drama.
Right. Yeah.
Which I love.
I know.
But it is like, I just curious what you think, why like people are so obsessed. And I wonder too if it's like people think that they really know these people.
Yes.
And it's not like an actor when you watch them in a movie and you're like, oh my God, I love that person. But these, you're literally coming into their home. You're in the car with them. You're like seeing, you really feel like you're part of their life.
But I think that's why you get obsessed with it.
Mm-hmm. Right. Because you feel like you actually know them.
Right. If you saw Housewives at an event, you'd be like, I know you. That's what I'm saying. I'm sure you have. You run up to Eric and Jane. Oh my God. Hi, I'm Ben.
Yeah. Well, I just was at that event for Nepcure, and literally Gina and Emily from Orange County, I'm on a group chat with them now.
Yeah.
We're texting, and they like, Emily wants to come here for her birthday. They should do one of the ultimate girls trips here.
On your ranch?
On the ranch.
Okay.
Can you imagine?
They would need a bigger ranch.
We need a bigger ranch. And maybe just a day trip.
Yeah, let's do day trip.
Yeah, not the whole thing.
Yeah, like they go to Dallas and they come and visit the.
All right, so to conclude, what are you most excited about coming up?
Well, I will say this, like obviously love the family, but I've been working on getting Stassi Schroeder back on television.
That's exciting.
So getting that done will be the thing I'm excited to get going.
Amazing. Well, hopefully we'll see that soon.
You will.
Thank you for being on the podcast. It's been a week. Thank you for listening to that episode of It's Been a Week, but don't touch that dial because it's not over yet. Get ready for the after show. Been there, done that with AJ. Well, we're going to get AJ's take on whatever the fuck I just said. Okay, we're back with Been There, Done That with AJ because we didn't have you last week.
I know. I feel like everyone missed me. Actually, I did get some messages.
I did too. They were like, where was AJ?
See, I'm a staple.
Okay, calm it down. Staple there with your fucking Labubu.
I am obsessed with Labubu. Labubu. I wanted one of these things so bad. I feel like I wanted it before other people knew what it was.
Give me my Labubu.
Yeah, see, he needs to have his Labubu now with his costume. He even has a costume. Look how cute my Labubus are. So cute.
They're what are they?
So this guy created a company, I don't know, let's say less than 10 years ago maybe, called Pop Mart. And he started selling these toys. And he then did this thing where he sold these other toys. I think they were called like Molly or dolls or something like that. And he recognized that if he put them in these secretive boxes and sold them at limited quantities, like it blew up. And it was a total success. And then this other guy, whether it's through him or someone else, created this Labubu character. And they're these bigger, larger dolls or something. And he then used the same strategy with the secretive boxes. And what's really crazy is it's been going on for a couple of years outside of the country, I believe. And I had seen them like at least a year ago or more. And I was like, oh, those are kind of interesting. And they brought the first Pop Mart stores to the US in 2024, but it wasn't until May of 2025. I think Rihanna, maybe some other celebrities had one in their bag and it blew up like bing, bang, boom. And so everyone needs a Labubu. This one is my favorite. Look at its sparkle eyes. It's so cute. I love the Labubus. Everyone should get a Labubu.
All right, enough with the Labubus. Moving on.
Disney was so fun. Have my sweatshirt.
And we both have our Disney sweatshirts on.
Mine has a castle, just like the castle that was built for this wildly incredible baby shower.
It's nuts. Bananas.
Such a good time in LA. Loved it. Obviously, really sad time too with the passing of Danny. But it was nice to be around friends, as you go through these moments, especially with Blaine. But it was really sad. Like it happened right before we left, and it was really, really sad. It's wonderful to be back in the 90-something degree weather.
So hot.
I can't believe I have a sweatshirt on right now. I'm doing this just for your podcast. because it is blazing outside.
It's hot. Anyways, it was good to have you back.
Oh, I'm so happy to be back.
And now we're back home, back to the grind, back to the heat. And I feel like we left for a week and like the weeds have overgrown. There was so much rain while we were gone. The weeds have overtaken. The lawn is out of control. I got to cut the pastures. It's time to get back to ranch life.
I mean, you're right. We got back and I am covered in bug bites and Lord knows what else. I hope I don't have any more like poison sumac or anything, but we weeded like crazy.
So much weeding.
When was that? Yesterday, 2 days ago?
It was so hot.
It was so hot, but it needed to get done. And I have to say, even though I'm just so happy that it's raining.
Yeah, at least we're getting rain. Normally we're in a drought at this point.
Yeah. The opposite.
And everything's dead and everything looks like shit.
Yeah.
So I'd rather like mow and weed than have all dead lawn. So, well, we need to get outside and get back to work. So for everyone else,
see you next Tuesday.
That's not your line.
Well, it's because I'm back.
Everyone else, I'll see you next Tuesday.